What is really going on with the economy in Venezuela? Although many people blame the current president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, for the current economic crisis, he merely inherited the problem from Chavez, and the crisis goes back not only to him but to actions during the 1980s. During the 1980s, Saudi Arabia and the United States decided to artificially collapse the oil prices throughout the world to cripple the Soviet Union's economy. It worked, however, it greatly hurt all oil exporting countries, such as Venezuela. Due to this great collapse, Hugo Chavez, the Venezuelan president from 1999 to 2013, tried to rebuild the country. He lowered inflation by reducing capital flight, however, this resulted in the creation of an economic bubble in Venezuela. Capital flight is when people transfer their money and assets out of the country to protect them from taxes or the government. It is usually done by the upper or middle class. Since Chavez greatly reduced capital flight, this caused a decrease in the exchange rate and the value of the national currency and created an economic bubble within the country as very few economic transactions took place outside of the country. This led citizens to form and participate in a black market. Imported or produced goods are smuggled into neighboring countries and then sold for US dollars. The US dollars are then sold back in Venezuela in the black market for Venezuelan currency. Since so many things were being exported to be sold for US dollars, this led to a shortage of good and healthcare products throughout Venezuela. The inflation continued to rise and the economy to worsen throughout the presidency of Chavez until his death in 2013, when his successor, Nicolas Maduro, took over. Maduro's attempts to help inflation failed. As inflation continued to increase, the country divided into two sides, those who support Chavez and now Maduro, and those who did not. Maduro's attempts to help inflation failed. As inflation continued to increase, the country divided into two sides, those who support Chavez and now Maduro, and those who did not. Those who did not support Maduro formed a political party called the Democratic Unity Alliance, a formation of all different parties with one common enemy, Maduro. With the Democratic Unity Alliance winning the recent parliamentary elections on December 6, 2015, they now hold two-thirds majority in parliament, a small victory considering Maduro can still veto their decisions. The country continues to be divided as the national healthcare crisis erupted due to the shortage of goods, and inflation still continues to rise. The country remains in the hands of Maduro until 2018, when the next election comes. Until then, the country remains at a stronghold in the middle of an economic and healthcare crisis.
Created using Powtoon.